Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 521. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Wild. How did that feel? That change? I mean, that's a big switch. You've been saying the same intro
A long
I don't know.
time.
How long have we been rolling with?
Well, we've swapped some other things in there from time to time, but it feels
Chinook,
good.
baby.
Chinook.
Let's roll.
Why I get this? Why I put the word out about this stream? Why don't you tell the folks about Chinook? Tell them how much, because I love the. Not that we got to make this whole thing about Chinook right off the top here, but I feel like it's worth announcing because, like, it's a big deal. And as much as I love the seeds, I think you love them even more. So why don't you tell the folks, about this experience?
I feel like I'm promoting them a lot to friends and fam. These seeds are, look, how long have you been chewing? I've been chewing seeds since I was 5-6 years old.
6 years old.
Like, I remember being a kid and like I couldn't wait to figure out how to put like a handful in your mouth and keep them on a cheek and then be able to like work out the seed on the other side of your mouth. And I remember that day. Like, I remember being able to do it and being excited. I remember the weird phase you go through where you're just chewing them and you're not spitting them out. You're literally just chewing and tearing up your insides from eating blades of seeds. So it's awesome because, like, as a ball player, you have your seed, like you have your favorite seeds. You understand different brands and like the different flavors, and you understand which ones are going to tear up your mouth. You understand that, like, hey, this may have more flavor, but it ain't worth it. So to be able to like get to this partnership with Chinook is sick, man. Like, these seeds are super, super high quality. I'm not just saying it. Like, I would, whether they were involved with us or not, I'd be promoting these things.
Speaking of promoting, friend of the program, Bobby Witt. If you follow Bobby Witt in any capacity, you know that Bobby Witt is a big player in the Chinook Seedery game.
That's right.
Big advocate, big promoter. Is a big partner for them. So we love that. I mean, we love anything Bobby Witt does.
That's right. That's right.
Do you just want to go ahead and drop the bomb on them now about this particular flavor that I don't think a lot of people know about?
Yeah, I mean, look, like, you got your normal flavors for the most part, like your original, your dill, your barbecue, they're all in the mix. They start getting a little funky. They start mixing in some hatch chili. They mix in some jalapeno ranch. They mix in some lemon pepper.
Some Parmesan and pepper.
The Parmesan and pepper is low-key
money,
a banger. You guys don't know about the cinnamon toast.
Dude. This, and I swear to you, I am not saying this. It is genuinely one of the best sunflower seeds I've ever had in my life.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like you look at it and you go, there's no way it works.
Because we've only had salty seeds. Like, that's the only seed we've ever been given is like salty, spicy, like nothing sweet before. I gave Chinook hooked us up with, they were generous and gave us some samples. So I got a lot and I was like, there's no way I'm going to have all these. So I started giving a couple bags to some friends, and he was like, did they like steal like the recipe from CT Crunch? Like, it's like unbelievable. It's so good. It shouldn't work. It shouldn't make sense. But these, I mean, they're high quality seeds. They're made in the US, which I love. I think they're out of Texas. And there's no like GMO or like MSG. There's none of that like stuff where you're just like sucking down water after you have a handful. They don't destroy your breath. Like, you and I were talking about it. I drive a lot for work, so like I keep bags in my center console, and it's the best. They're the best seeds I've ever had. I'm not just saying that. I would be talking this way whether they were partnered with us or not. So go get you some. I love the little, you can see over my shoulder, you can see over Kyle's shoulder, the singular tube that is very easy for what you can imagine is made for like the back pocket of a player on field. Just very easy to cut the corner, pop them in. But they do have the big bags too.
The perfect serving size for just like an outing. Like if you go to the park or you're at a ball game or driving home from work, you got a longer commute. The perfect serving size. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Top tier.
Shout out Chinook.
Use our promo code
30take, THREEOHTAKE on their website. You can get 10% off your order. Speaking of money, let's talk Vladdy Jr.
Again.
Let's talk Vladdy Jr. again. Dude, I like to say that I have a radar for these kinds of things where, you know, games are being played, players just trying to work the team for this or that. I still feel like I'm in the camp that Vladdy Jr. doesn't want to play for the Blue Jays, but some quotes have surfaced recently in the recent days that have me second guessing that.
Hit me.
All right. So ultimately, Blue Jays president Mark Shapiro comes out, says, I think we're going to sign him. I think we're going to extend him. We have such a clear alignment on the desired outcome. Vlad wants to play his whole career as a Toronto Blue Jay. We want him to end his career in a Blue Jays uniform and be a true legacy player for the Toronto Blue Jays. That's a pretty good place to start. And then Vladdy comes out and says, I've always felt good about the whole thing. I'm good with that. Just going to keep working very hard and be optimistic, not going to shut the door on them. This was the one that got me. He said, I'm going to leave that to my agents to work with that. If there's something there, they're going to continue to work with that. I'm just going to be on the field, focusing on my teammates, on my team, on my game. If that was the case, why set the deadline? Why set the deadline?
I've never believed the deadlines. Have you? I've never bought into the deadlines.
It made sense to me, and the only reason I bought it was because the way it aligned with the spring training schedule. I'm like, okay, he just once he steps on the field, he doesn't want to play any games, doesn't want to hear about it throughout the whole year. But then this comes out, and I'm like, so it sounds like he's more than okay with his agent, who was doing the work for him on his behalf anyway, regardless if there was a deadline or not. He's okay with him handling business off to the side while he worries about his game. So ultimately, Vladdy got what he wanted. He got the Blue Jays to come back to the table and not just throw in the towel and say, all right, fine, we'll try our luck in free agency. They're like, Vladdy got what he wanted. The Blue Jays come back saying, no, we're gonna make this work. We feel like we're gonna sign you. So he got exactly what he wanted. Do I think he's going to end up in Toronto, or he's going to stay in Toronto? I feel like the odds are greater now based on these quotes. Do I think he wants to be there? Not entirely, but I think if the money gets to a point where he has no choice but to accept, I think that's a likely scenario.
Money talks, man. Money talks. Always does. I don't believe in the deadline. I think in my mind, I feel like Vlad probably gave his agents a number and said, don't bother me with this unless we are at or near this number. I think it also has to do with this year's success of the team. I think that's going to be a part of it, right? Like, I feel like it's a vibe thing. Like, if the Jays are rolling, I'm rolling, like, all things are good. Maybe even if not, maybe if like, hey, I'm struggling and I'm getting off to a slow start and the Blue Jays are getting closer to my number, like maybe I don't put up the year that I want to put up. And I mean, like we saw it with like we've seen it with guys. We've seen it with guys that maybe don't have the best walk year production wise, and it costs them a significant amount of money. We've also seen that like a lot of teams calling players or agents bluff in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go there. I'm sorry, we're out then. So it's interesting because I don't know where the Blue Jays would be on this, because we've talked about like they've been in on big names in the past, right? They've been in on Ohtani. They've been in on Judge. They've been in on these guys that are just Correa, like all these names that are like at the top of the free agent class, and they've just, you know, it's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. So I feel like they have money to spend. I feel like they've renovated their park. You know what I mean? Like they've done the right things. They've made the right moves. I like that they still sneaky had a good offseason. You know what I mean? Like if you were to look at those moves, and they're improvements from last year. I think they're genuine improvements from last year. I think all of this is just like a perfect mixture. The AL East is, and the AL in general, is more up for grabs than it has been in the past. Like these are all good things. And I feel like if things are going well, if Vlad is feeling good, if there's the right buttons being pressed all year, I could see a mid-season extension. I could. Do I think that's likely? No, I don't think so.
I wonder if there's a scenario where the Blue Jays do not perform up to their expectations. I won't say our expectation or even my expectations. I don't know where we've got our hot takes and predictions episode coming up next. So I don't want to speak for you necessarily, but if the Blue Jays don't live up to their expectations and Vladdy Jr. ends up being one of the lone bright spots of this 2025 Blue Jays team.
Yeah.
Does that increase the urgency in that front office where they're like, this guy is the only reason these people are coming to the ballpark. We've got to figure out a way to keep this guy around. We're knocking on the door of an agreement here, of an extension. We just got to make this work. Do you think that increases the urgency? Because ultimately that's what Vladdy wants. That's what Vladdy and his camp wants. They want the front office to panic a little bit. And again, if Vladdy goes out and has an even better year than he had last year, because we've talked about it, he had a better year than I think people even remember.
Oh, he was really good last year.
Yeah. If he goes out and improves even upon that, and the Blue Jays are sort of like, you know, middle of the road, even bottom of the division, does the front office go, if we want to compete at all moving forward, this is the guy that we've had him circled ever since he joined the organization, that he was going to be a centerpiece of this? Or do they just look at it and go, is it worth it? Because we have not done anything of note in recent memory, and it doesn't look like anything's changed. We went out and made additions this offseason. It amounted to nothing, or at least to this point in the season, assuming this conversation takes place around the break. Is it even worth it? Like, do we overextend ourselves to get a guy that A, doesn't really seem that he wants to be here, and B, isn't going to make as much of a difference, given he is a difference maker, but if he has nobody around him that's able to take them to the next level, is it even worth it?
I think they have to. I mean, I think the pressure's already there. I think their seat is already hot. I think it would be a mistake for the Blue Jays. It's already been a mistake, but I think it will be a mistake if they let him go have meetings elsewhere. If this gets to the offseason and he's meeting with other teams, I think it's a mistake. I think it's a missed opportunity. He's gone. Like I'm not trying to come down on the Blue Jays at all, but like you got to assume there's a lack of Dominican culture up there. You got to assume that it's not the easiest thing in the world to live in Canada. You know what I mean? Like to go back and forth between the countries it's not the easiest thing. You're talking, taxes being an issue. Like there's a lot of other factors outside of just how the Blue Jays perform, how the roster is organized, who's in the managerial seat. Because let's face it, that seat has been a little hot lately too. So it's tough, man. But like if they let him go and have other meetings and get to flirt with other teams and other organizations, I can't see him returning. I cannot. And being good friends with Soto and seeing how negotiations can have other things involved outside of just your salary.
Other factors at play. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that can definitely play a role. I think it can definitely play a role. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets, because that Pete Alonso deal did include a club option, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't pick that up. If Pete is anything less than 35 homers this year, I think it was a club option.
Was it?
I think if it's anything less than 35 home runs a year out of this year out of Pete Alonso, they're not picking that up. And Soto's going to heavily recruit Vlad.
Yeah, he's going to eat that up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to belabor it. We've talked about Vladdy a lot this offseason.
Yeah.
There hasn't been much progress, but there has been back and forth, which I feel like we have to keep the folks updated on. So that is the latest on Vladdy Jr. Tokyo series in the books. Dodgers go out and do exactly what I think people were anticipating. They go out and take 2 of 2. And you see a little bit of everything. You see some flash from Ohtani. Ohtani goes deep, controversial call, albeit. You see some depth out of their bullpen. It was Scott had the save in game 1, and then I think it was Vesia in game 2 had the save. So you're already seeing a little bit of that versatility at work. And some of their depth pieces showing up. I think Kike's got what, 2 jacks now? He's got I think 2 on the year coming home. I think the reason that I think that is because I think I saw a tweet where he's talking about how he's gonna take the week and enjoy it as like the league leader in home runs or something.
Yeah.
I'm like typical Kike fashion. But yeah, I mean, I caught a total of. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I caught a total of maybe 5 innings between the 2 games. Because I was being on the East Coast, you're able to catch a little bit more than the Dodgers fans out west, assuming they're not waking up at 3 a.m. But some of them were.
No,
I'll give them credit. But it's awesome. It's anytime you get to see Major League Baseball be soaked up by an audience outside of our own. It's awesome. So I have nothing wrong to say or nothing bad to say about that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, the only camp we've been in is that the fact that we just don't like it for opening day.
It's the timing of it, man. It's just it's weird. It's weird.
It is.
But the one of the things that I thought was interesting, it wasn't like a major talking point, but I didn't see many folks talking about it. But I want to say it was game 1. Yeah, it was game 1. I had the broadcast on, I think it was Chicago's broadcast, and they were talking about how the cheerleaders who are usually there, because that's big in MPB, they got the cheerleading squad there. They're leading all the chants and they incite a lot of the rowdiness that you see take place at those Japanese games.
Right.
But they said that they intentionally, for lack of a better way of saying it, they essentially sat out the games because they were under the assumption that Major League fans wanted to enjoy a traditional MLB experience, even though they were in Japan. And I go, you know what? That little show respect to the MLB fans that are either there or watching the game.
Yeah, from arguably the most respectful culture in the world.
And I said something along the lines of like, we could learn to, or we could afford to learn a thing or two from the Japanese culture when it comes to respect, not just in baseball, but just as human beings.
Yeah.
But yeah, sort of that combined with the passion and energy they showed. I'm all for Major League Baseball continuing to grow its brand over there, given how much of an impact I don't remember what the final numbers were, but a lot of people watch these games over there.
Yeah.
Both, I can only imagine streaming and in person. But then you go back to like the numbers where they were pulling the weight for the World Series viewership numbers last year with Ohtani and all that. So anytime, like I said, baseball, Major League Baseball can make its way over there. I love it, but it all comes back to us with a timing thing. And I know logistics aren't easy, and it's easy for us to sit here and go, well, why don't they do it this time or this time? But just read the room a little bit. Like, that's all. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I think we've probably beat that up enough. Yeah, correct matchup as well. Very cool just to be able to see Imanaga on the mound. Obviously, Ohtani, Sasaki, Yamamoto, correct matchup. I feel for the Cubbies a little bit for losing a couple home games.
Which is weird. Like, who are we
that's
fooling?
Odd.
Who are we fooling? Just give LA the home.
Yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't give them that. It's just strange. Like, I'm thinking of like a season ticket holder in Chicago, getting robbed of 2 games out of Wrigley. Like, no offense to the stadium out in LA, but it ain't Wrigley, So I think, it was oddly,
maybe just upset some people with that.
I'm sure I did. But it ain't Wrigley, and we all know it. And it was obvious that the cheering was a lot louder for the Dodgers. So yeah, kind of strange there. But touch on a little bit of what you were talking about. Like, I think this is a very good look into the way the Dodgers are likely going to operate this year. Because we saw, no Freddie, no Mookie. And it doesn't matter because they have all of these other roles that are just better filled than any other roster I've ever seen, to be honest. We see Conforto playing a solid left field, and we've already mentioned, I think he's making just $17 million this year. It's like, Kike's in the mix. We sometimes overlook Max Muncy in this lineup. We overlook a Will Smith, and it's the same type of ideology in the bullpen as well, right? Because do you want to go Trinan? Do you want to go Tanner Scott? It just depends on the tunnel. Depends on what starter was working that day. It depends on where you're at in the lineup. It depends on that, and then you have Vesia, and it's just they have 4 closers, you can argue. It's crazy, man. They have guys that are, starting in the infield for them that, or I should say, they have guys in the infield that would be on a bench and for them most of the time that would be starters elsewhere. It's just, I think you're going to see a very spread out, let's not overextend our superstars during the regular season. I think you're going to have to get used to this team almost being NBA-ish with their health management, their time management, their playing time. It's going to be very spread out. And It's different, man. It's different for baseball. You know, anything can happen. Yes, we're going to look at this team on paper and be like, we've already said it. Like, this team should win 100 games, no problem. But at the same time, like, when you have all these players, as a manager, you got to assume that you got to ride the hot hand. You know what I mean? If Kike is hitting 600 this week, like, it's hard to sit a guy like that. But it's also hard to say, like, okay, well, we're paying a Tommy Edman to get, you know, more time. We're paying a Mookie Betts to be able to get at the top of that lineup and not have days off. So it's going to be interesting how they manage it. But yeah, man, their bench is deep, their bullpen's deep. Obviously, the rotation is deep, and they don't have to overextend anybody. Nobody has to overdo it. Shohei doesn't even really need to pitch for them. That's what, you know what I mean? Like, it's just insane.
No, it
doesn't. But yeah, the Dodgers are just the Dodgers. The Cubs,
ripped the segue right out from underneath me.
You got it
again.
You're moving on to Cubs
yet again.
Well, I thought we were still there.
No, I mean we can mention the Cubs, but I mean, again, nothing of note really to discuss there. This series went exactly the way we anticipated.
Fair enough.
No, I was just you were talking about.
What are you moving out of the Tokyo series? Because I did want to ask you something.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
out?
I was, but go for it.
What do you think of this weird like replay 360?
Dude, I was trying to make sense of that. I mean,
it doesn't compute in my head.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I? How
is it
are you
AI?
getting this? How are you getting this? Where are the cameras? Where are the sensors?
Because we first saw like,
is this real? Am I real?
Yeah, we first saw like the Dansby dive going to his left, and it was like behind. He comes up and throws, takes, you know, and you see like the fist pump. And I was like, this is sick. But then like when you look at the crowd behind, it's like a video game.
Yeah.
Like and then you can kind of see like it's almost like green screeny. I don't know how I feel. It's strange.
I mean, I'm all for, you know, different angles, different new technology to enhance the viewing experience, but
yeah.
And again, I didn't see enough of it to really be able to form too strong of an opinion, but anything like that, just make sure you got it tightened up before you roll it out, because then
I don't
sorts of blowback. But
I can't imagine it's an MLB thing, right?
No, but I'm sure they saw it and were like, "Whoa,
yeah,
what can we do with this?"
Japan's built different, bro. I think they're ahead of the game. They're ahead of the game. I saw something on TikTok the other day that their sidewalks have like pedals that when you walk along the street, like in like busy parts of the city, the kinetic energy from the pedals of the walkway is creating electricity. And they said that every footstep can give like 7 light bulbs, like 30 seconds of light. So they have millions of people just walking on the streets, but they're made of these little pedals. I'm like, y'all are different out there. You're ahead of the game. We don't know what we're doing. Your Wi-Fi is a mess.
Dude, I don't know what's going on over here. I'm about to throw my computer out the window.
Yet they are doing that. They got electric walkways. It's just wild, man.
Maybe I need to go hook up my Wi-Fi to their sidewalks.
It's possible. Just ahead of the game, bro.
Well, I lost my segue, so let's just transition here. Alex Verdugo, the sought after, the free agent of the offseason,
big time,
the superstar Alex Verdugo finally lands a 1 year, $1.5 million contract with the Braves. Tell me about your boy.
My boy. Why is he my boy? I think he's more your boy.
I don't know. He got World Series ABs and pinstripes, so you tell me.
That's fair. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he'll play it. He's going to play good defense, and he's going to give you interesting moments
below league
offensively.
average output at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, like I do think last year was a down year. I think he's better than what he's brought to the
Gotten
table
worse
last
every
year.
year since for like the last 4 years.
I hear you. I don't know, man. He's seems like a good clubhouse guy, kinda. He has like these weird clutch moments that are like it's like these big moments, and then he has
Here you go.
the floor is
OPS
really low.
OPS plus. Sorry, y'all. I'm fighting a sinus thing or allergies or something. So I'm fighting through this for you guys. So bear with me. Forgive me. 2020. I can only talk so loud. I'm quickly realizing. So hopefully I don't get too fired up about any of this. 2020 OPS plus of 123. 2021 OPS plus of 107. 2022 102. 183.
See, that's a big dip. That's what I'm saying.
Are you not an OPS plus person, or do you prefer the OPS? If so, let me read you those OPS numbers. OPS in 2020, 844, 777, 732, 745, 647.
Yeah.
Quite literally below league average.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think he can.
And
I think he can give you league average. I don't think there's expectations of him being any better than that. And it's also like now we're seeing potentially a new role because he's not going to be an everyday outfielder for the Braves. I see him as like a safety net to Kelnick. If Kelnick comes out and is hitting $120 for 6 weeks, it's like
that may happen.
We've seen it. And
yeah.
Like if Braves fans are in the chat, like I think he's somewhat polarizing. I think there's a lot of fans that are for him. There's a lot of fans that aren't. I mean, you got him for a bag of chips. Like that's cool. Like it was a high reward, low risk kind of thing. It just doesn't seem like it's coming out. I don't know how he's looked this spring, or I don't know, but that seems like a safety net to him. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I think that's fair. I just, for Verdugo's sake, though, I think he's run out of time to pounce on the whole like chip on your shoulder narrative. Like I feel like he's had multiple seasons now where it's like, okay, dude, a lot of talk, a lot of noise coming out of your camp.
Yeah.
It's time to like show up. And he shows up literally, like he shows up to the ballpark. But beyond that, how much is he really giving you? And he was supposed to be like better than league average, and he hasn't really been that. So like, I don't know how many more years, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to see any attitude coming from Verdugo this year where it's like, oh, nobody believes me. It's like, well, for good reason, dude. Like you just haven't been good.
Yeah.
So like,
I get what you're saying.
And
I get where you're coming from.
You've really had, and I know he's only what, 28, 29, but it's like, you're not this blue chip prospect. Like you've been around for a minute now, and you've had multiple opportunities where it's like, okay, take the ball and run with it, essentially. And he's just sort of stood there.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that he is always going to be attached to the Mookie trade, and
yeah, but like that excuse runs out. Like from his perspective, that runs out real quick because it's like, okay.
I think it runs out because he's such a loud player. Like he's just very charismatic, right? Like it's big chains, it's a lot of chains, it's tattoos, it's I play loud, I play with swagger. If you don't do well, it's not a good look. You know what I mean? If you don't perform, it doesn't look the best. I think those two things sum up Alex Verdugo.
No, I'm just saying, like, from his perspective, though, if he's like, man, I got way too much pressure on me, man. People want me to be like Mookie Betts. It's like, no, we're well past the point of thinking that's even remotely a possibility, even like a fraction of Mookie Betts. We just want you to be like a little bit better than league average because we think your skill set, with your skill set, that you're capable of doing that. And he just hasn't really been. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the Braves do this, and they turn guys around, and you squeeze every ounce of potential out of them. Sometimes it's just what they do, and it's a high reward, low risk yet again.
Him and Profar are going to have a grand time with one another. I know that much.
Yeah,
I know that much. Jose Trevino, 3-year contract extension with the Cincinnati Reds through the 2027 season. Thoughts on your boy?
Good for Trevi, man. I like Trevi. Like if you haven't gotten a chance to see any like interviews with him or pressers with him, like he's a really good dude. I like what he. I feel like he always says the right stuff. Very, very good behind the dish when it comes to framing. I think pitch calling, handling a staff, all those types of things are good. Is the arm better? I hope so, because like if you're committing 3 years to a guy and his arm is what it was last year, look out. But he's a good dude, and he seems to be like a very humble, I'll accept whatever my role is kind of guy. And you love that. And I think it's cool. I think Tito probably likes him. I think that's something of like he's just a gamer. He's a ball player. And he has clutch moments sometimes. And you could have worse as a backup catcher. Should he be catching 115, 120 games? No.
Well, with Tyler Stevenson out though, he'll be the guy for a little while until he gets back.
Yeah. I think I'm just saying like in the length of this
sure long term. Yeah.
This 3-year period. Yeah.
But to your point with Tito, I think this is a guy that's going to mesh real well with the style of baseball that Tito likes to push forward with whatever team he's at the helm of. I think that'll play well. So I think that's a good move on behalf of the Reds. Well done.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if we could fast forward someday and see Jose Trevino coaching at some point. Like he's that kind of guy. Yeah, good for him. It's exciting.
Let me switch gears here, and I didn't even have it on the list, but I know I'm going to forget it if I don't bring it up now, because I just happened to see a post mentioning his name. This whole Jose Altuve thing, I don't think we've followed up on the whole move to left field thing. Have you seen some of the?
Woof.
So, I mean, what are we doing there? I don't understand. And they asked me this. It's sort of fresh on my mind because they asked me this on Friday when I was on ESPN Las Vegas. A little shameless plug. Good guys over there.
Shameless flex.
They said, shameless flex, shameless plug. They said, do you think he's there at the end of the year? And I said, I'm leaning towards no. And before I even got to that point, I was talking about how it just confused me why he's even out there in the first place. Like, do the Astros somehow think that they're getting Alex Bregman back and that he's still going to play second, necessitating this move?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused by it too. I'll be honest with you.
Because Mauricio Dubon, I think, is slated to be their second baseman. And I'm like, this guy actually plays in the outfield.
Yeah,
and has played in the outfield.
Right. That's what I'm not understanding. I mean, I get that, like, he didn't have a very good year last year defensively.
But I'm not going to put like the face of my franchise in left field after being a second baseman for 14 years. What are we doing?
Yeah, I understood it when like Bregman was still a free agent, and that was kind of on the table of like, hey, like we've already committed to Isak Paredes. Like, if Bregman comes back, and we have to make Paredes play second, and like I'll move it like that. I understood. Like that's just buying in, being a leader. Like,
Even then,
but they're out on
Altuve
it.
shouldn't have been the guy to
No.
budge.
This is strange. It's strange. I think Dubon he's good. Dubon's athletic. He's going to play a good second base. But at what cost? You know what I'm saying? Like, can Dubon play a better left field than Altuve? Like, what's the point of taking two guys and moving them versus just one guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather have Dubon in the outfield.
But that's the thing. You're not moving any guy if you keep Dubon in the outfield and Altuve at second. That's the whole point. Like I genuinely do not understand this move at all.
I don't either.
And the more clips that I keep seeing of Altuve dropping routine cans of corn out and left, I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here.
I didn't understand the Isak Paredes move. Like I feel like they're just trying to make stuff work with guys out of position. It just doesn't make a ton of sense.
I got some thoughts on this in our hot takes episode coming up on Sunday.
Ooh.
Craig Kimbrel back with Atlanta.
Heard of him. Yeah.
Minor league deal. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm so out, dude. I'm over it.
I'm all done.
I mean, how many man, I'm fighting for my life over here. Struggling. It's hitting me now.
Is it? The meds are wearing off.
Throat is raw.
We'll get you out of here.
How many more, like how many teams can you bounce around to and try to make it work? And I get it. You're going back to Atlanta, so maybe there's something there. But dude, that was when was he there? 2008? That's what, 17 years ago?
Was it really? I got to look it up now.
Wasn't that 2008? Tell me it was 2008.
Braves fans yelling at us for sure.
Do I know ball or do I know ball?
Just hit us with a cool negative 1.1 WAR last year.
Was he a Brave?
2014.
Why did I say?
He wasn't even in the league in.
Okay, I don't know where I saw it. I guess I don't know ball. No, but tough. I'm just like, how many teams? Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, that math doesn't add up. How many teams can we make a go at it with before you're just like, I just don't have it in the tank anymore. I just don't have it in the tank.
Yeah.
The only thing that I like about the move is that he's joining a team that is looking to reassert itself as a force in this league. And I think the mission of the Atlanta Braves coming into 2025 of being a team that wants to reassert itself aligns with, I think, the mission of Craig Kimbrel, where he's looking to be like, hey, like, whereas you and I don't think there's anything really left in the tank, he's probably of the belief where he's like, no, I still got a little something left. And I think that aligns well with what the Braves are looking to do this year, of trying to ensure that people have not forgotten about them after last year. But that's all I really had on the matter.
Do you remember him being a Dodger in 2022?
Yeah. He was with the Dodgers. They tried to put him and Liam as like co-closers in Chicago.
I remember that.
He was with Boston, obviously, with Baltimore, with Philly. He was never with San Diego, was he?
1 year, 2015.
Early, yeah. I was gonna say it wasn't with the new. It was
in between Braves and Boston. Yeah.
Who else?
Yeah, man. It just hasn't looked good for a while now.
And it's not like that. That's the thing. It's not just like going back to our whole like league average conversation. It's not like he's just league average. Like he's been genuinely awful.
These are the
Genuinely
types of
awful.
moves that just make me question, like, you really not have anyone else in the organization that you want to see? Like, are you wanting to see what you got in some of your young guys? Give them a shot.
I know we talk
I
about it
know
all
this
the
is a minor
time.
league deal, but like, come on.
I know we talk about it all the time, but maybe this is just one of those, like, we got to get the veteran guy. One of the veteran presences in the clubhouse, and this is the guy that's been here before. Who knows?
Yeah, whatever.
Who knows? All right, 2 more. Let's make it. Let's make it through this. Jared Jones. I feel like I'm screaming right now.
You're not.
But I'm not. I'm not screaming at all. Jared Jones. I hate to say this because I drafted him in fantasy. Potential TJ looming, and I'm not here for it because I was very much excited.
I was excited
about
too.
watching Jared Jones encore from last year. Watching him and Skeens go 1-2 again.
I know. Yeah, I know.
And I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it's just as you hear with these things, it's always a possibility.
Yeah. When you hear it, there's typically some fire with that smoke. Yeah, I agree. It's tough. I think he's gonna be really good. I think he's gonna have a really good career. It's just, I mean, I guess it's good to get this just out of the way. I think the Pirates are somewhat on the come up. I don't know. Have you heard of this other kid they have?
Bubba Chandler?
Yeah. Who's like
nasty.
Who's like, yeah, Skeens won't be the opening day starter for forever.
No,
like
I thought that was
Jared.
That was Jared Jones saying that, I thought.
About Bubba Chandler.
Oh, I thought he was ribbing Skeens about himself being.
No, he was saying that about him.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, yeah, that adds up.
Yeah. So it's just like they're producing, man, which is good because like they've had a tough rap for the last few years of, having some dudes coming in and not being able to take advantage of them, Cole and Glass now and guys like that. So,
or no, it wasn't Jared Jones. I think he straight up told Skeens.
Is that what it was?
Bubba
Chandler said that.
Skeens says the cool thing is he sent me a text when the video came out today, meaning the announcement that he was going to be the opening day starter, and said it's going to be tough next year when you're starting day 2.
That guy's a real deal too. Like, yeah.
Dude.
So I think the Pirates are on the come up, man. I think this is gonna be good. Just Jared Jones, if you need it, just get it out of the way, man. Like I think that's what we can all pick up on at this point, is that like the guys that try to work their way through it or rehab, it's just like it's inevitable for pretty much every pitcher, man. Just go get it done, get the rehab done, and come back next year when the Pirates have, I hope they continue to just take steps in the right direction. So.
I'm with you. I don't know if it does much to change my thoughts, even if Skeens comes out and wins every game he starts. I don't know if it's doing much to move the needle for me with the Pirates, but we'll save that for next episode, our hot takes and predictions episode. Lastly here. Oh,
whoa. You're almost there, guy.
I'm almost there. Let's compose ourselves here.
All right.
I mean, it feels like I
believe you.
Screaming on the mountaintop. Angels, specifically Ron Washington, are banning cell phones in the Angels clubhouse. A plan that he is aiming to uphold throughout the regular season. This is also something that he did when he was with the Rangers.
And when was he with the Rangers?
I had the same exact thought. It was at a time when cell phone culture was not what it is now.
Correct.
Did I just say cell phone culture? What you get?
I think that adds up. I think it's just culture, but
phone culture.
hit me on my cell.
Hit me on my cellular phone, SMS.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be tough, but
I bet when people heard me mention the Angels are banning cell phones, they're like, oh, these two old heads are going to be all for this. I want to go on record as saying that I don't think this is a great idea. And to be honest with you, I love Ron Washington.
me too.
And I'm not saying that it's the same here, but a decision like this to me, I think if the Angels, if he implements this rule and they still come out and suck, which is very likely, you're going to see Ron Washington start creeping into like Tony La Russa territory from the perspective of fans, not like maybe not necessarily within the clubhouse,
right.
but it's possible they'll still respect him and all that. But
there could be a pretty big disconnect there.
Yeah, where people are going to be like, what does this dude know? He like, and I'm fearful for Ron.
I am too. We talked about this when he took this position, man. Like he had it made in the shade. He had it made in the shade. He was a fan favorite in Atlanta. He got to work with infielders every day. And I get it that there may have been just like this monkey on his back of like, I need a redemption of being at the helm, considering the way things ended last time. But it's hard to imagine this working. It really is. I see what you're doing, but I think it's hard to imagine. I think they'll have guys there that'll help. You know, Mike Trout, I think, is going to make sure that this is implemented. Like, not that he's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know if you read this or if you're just speculating, but in the report that I read, it's going to be him and Kyle Hendricks that are going to be the two that are
enforcing
enforcing this.
Yeah. See, it's a weird place to put these players. It's a weird place to put these guys. You know what I mean?
I like the intent behind it.
But I do. I think it's coming from a good place.
Yeah, it's just we're talking about two different times here. Like you can't just think back to when you were with Texas and be like, oh, this will work.
Right.
It's just a different time.
It's a different time. I think the Angels knew what they were getting themselves into, and they brought him in, though. And if this is about shifting culture, if this is about taking the blows, taking the punches, and if Ron Washington's going to be the one that, you know, has to kind of lay down the law and say, this is how we have to build a winning culture here, and entirely focusing on baseball, it's tough, man. It's tough. You're talking about grown men that should be able to be responsible with phones. You're talking about grown men that are taking months away from their families, and now you're taking away, you know, their way of communicating. It's not like these guys are showing up an hour before game time. You know what I mean? These guys are locking in 4, 5, 6 hours before game time sometimes. So it's weird. It's weird. You can have a box outside the clubhouse doors. You got to drop it off into. It's just, it's kind of odd. It's kind of odd. It's coming from the right place. It's hard to imagine this is going to get blown up. And the second they come out slow, the second they come out, you know, sliding a little bit, it's going to be like, oh, you change your mind about the phone. Like, fans are not going to be great about this.
You know what is going to be great, though, Nate, is our hot takes and predictions episode. And I want to close by letting you just hype it up, give a little bit of preview, a little bit of promo as to what folks can expect this Sunday.
Yeah, it's lawless. That's for sure. If you're joining in for the first time, this is hands down our number one episode. This is the most listened to episode each and every year. So we're, going to run through our predictions. We're going to run through, standings, division by division. We're going to run through awards. Liberty Bibbity. That's stupid commercial. We're going to run through our award predictions. We're going to have kind of a mix of our own things. We're going to have our own awards that are a little bit crafty and creative. We're going to have the hot takes that are going to be super spicy. They're going to be super controversial. And I think we've done a really good job over these last few years of making sure that we come back to these throughout the year, at the end of the year, just to kind of check back in, see if any of these were on the money. But a lot of these are just bold takes that you haven't heard elsewhere. So we're gonna bring the heat. But the best part of this is that we were going to spend a good chunk of the episode reading your guys' takes. So make sure you write in, whether it's via mail, if you want to like lick the envelope and send it in.
No, I'm not doing that.
If you want to write to the Hotmail account or AOL account, we can put that up on the screen. Now, DM us. DM us. No.
You got
a thing?
You've already seen me. You've already seen me solicit DMs. Or not DMs. You've already seen me solicit takes already. I put out a post yesterday, and I've already gotten a lot. But I'll be putting out maybe another post or two before Sunday to get any last remaining hot takes y'all got. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Get your takes in if you want them read. We're putting the best ones on the show. And as I mentioned, it's going to be a stream on Sunday, which will be the first time we've ever done a live stream for this particular episode. So Nate and I are going to figure out a time that works, and then we're going to
it's going to be deep. Prepare yourselves, or anyone that plans on joining live.
Grab a beverage, grab your lunch.
Grab a lunch, yeah.
But
I think last year was 3 hours, wasn't it?
Well, we had Ryan on there, and I think Ryan was a little bit
under the influence.
Under the influence.
Yeah, I told him to have some tequila before we started, and I think he had too much.
But yeah, so keep an eye out for that time drop and make plans to join us Sunday, presumably afternoon, I think is what we're looking at. But just keep an eye out for that, and make sure to bring your takes too. Even if you don't get your takes in before Sunday, we may even have, or it's like Nate said, it's lawless. We may even just open it up while we're recording. For some takes. But other than that about does it. I gotta get
here. Yeah, you gotta get some soup and go to bed.
Give me some tea. It's like that line in Friends where they're like, what does he say? He's like, quit your yapping and make us some tea.
Yeah. Is when they're dressing up.
They make the fort.
Yeah, they make the fort. One's like a cowboy and an Indian. He's like, isn't this girl's hat? Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Have a good night. Check out Chinook Seeds. You're going to start noticing them in stores more and more. These guys are blowing up. They do it the right way. And make sure you use their promo code.
Just to confirm, because I wasn't entirely sure, but I wanted to make sure. But Bobby Witt, I mentioned Bobby Witt, big Chinook
His face
Seed
is
guy.
on one of the flavors.
He's a part owner. He's a part owner.
There you go. Support Bobby Witt. He needs the money because the Royals didn't give him enough.
Supportive for what a rip off that contract was.
That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna go eat some dinner. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you on as always. Looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.